This poem is called Gethsemane. I've been noticing tonight a lot of poetry is therapy for people, and I've noticed that my poetry is therapy for me. My son is 2 years old now. He just turned 2. And 2 years ago, right after he was born, my wife's cousin was able to have a baby, and that baby died. And I had to go a week after walking out of the hospital, watching my son be born. I had to walk the same route back into the hospital to go through the grieving process with the members of our family, and it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. And so I was grieving in my own ways, and this is how I grieved. Gethsemane. The lights on the suspension of the mid-Hudson Bridge model like candles on the black waters below. I see no moon crossing the river. Some hand against the face of time reaches down like the blackness between stars or creation before there was light to divide days, months, and years. The residual road to Vassar's maternity ward tastes of vinegar. The sun seems like a ghost limb in the shifting seasons. And maybe our tears are like the blood or prayers on the mount of the cup he asked his father to flood in his stead, knowing that his will was to forsake, to keep his word. At Christmas, snow blesses the dead ground and the moon's white light, the oak's shadow a fallen mean. I feel like I should say, it's okay not to clap. The gulls leave gentle traces in the sky off Emerald Isle as Anna bobs on the anapestic break of the Atlantic at low tide. Slick whitecaps betray riptides. Miles away, the sun drowns in western waters. Its razor files time out of the day like a Pyrrhic dance before night unfolds the mystic three-quarter moon, and the smile of Orion's sweeping sword reflects light from years we'll never know. The gulls bank on the unseen. White hearts with wings half-cocked, they bullseye minnows, white stones plumbing ocean depths. Beyond the set, Spanish mackerel flash in ecclesiastical arcs boutons. They model the soul's loophole along the keys. Anna wishes to make of it all a record upon the North Star. I watch how the water lies unbroken beyond the break and pretend not to hear, for luck. A gull cries over the whitewash, breaking her ruby slipper spells. At bedtime prayers, she disarms me. Daddy, why do people die? Once Sparrow gave her a dream catcher to sleep, to keep. Daughter, I wish I had an answer. The night's long declension falls, and leaning into the wind, the fishermen cast out to the old world, their final call into blackening waters. We're listening to the vesper singing from her bluegrass state of Hudson homes and a living. I'm just going to read the closing passage of a story that they were nice enough to publish in the fine print last year, a story that I wrote about altar calls when I was a boy. Those of you who grew up in churches with altar calls, they leave an impression on you. This is the final movement of that story. Isaac looked up towards the preacher. Above the shadows of the valley, the light was burning brightly, but the dark was coming on. He could feel it in the air. By the time they reached the summit, the sun was setting on the California side of the pass. Isaac looked out of the back window of the truck. The red light seemed to have no wind as it reckoned with the distance. The black of the night and the spectacle of stars were already descending on the flat light that cankered in from the east. The truck kicked up a trail of dust that smoked up in a blue and red sky on the bowl of the horizon. They continued their ascent into the pass and the shrouded peak were the last lights of day traced against the ebbing Sierras. The pass was abridged by steep slopes that became visible only in the dim periphery of the truck's head lanterns. Isaac sensed them rising high in the darkness above. Before long they would be through the pass, and the town would light up the valley below, like stars against the night sky, and then they would be home. He continued to look back until he could no longer see the fire cutting against the horizon. But he knew it was there, as he knew the road and the river were there. It was strangely comforting, the clarity of it all, as if it were the only way to go. Thanks.